Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome to Newark. It is 6:52 in the morning. Just got to the hotel a little while ago, had a bite to eat for breakfast. My belly is very full with some breakfast potatoes and some mini pancakes and lots of orange juice. Came up to my room, took off most of my uniform pieces, just kept my t-shirt and my undies on, so it's not that kind of show, you know. So it is overcast with a 20% chance of rain. It's supposed to be about 70 degrees today, 72 degrees. So I'm planning on going to sleep just after I talk to you guys. And then I'm hoping to wake up about 9:30 to be out of here by 10. One of my favorite YouTubers is here at the same hotel, Deanne Ford. If you don't know her name, I've always enjoyed her YouTube channel, but she's also here. So I left a message letting her know that I plan on leaving here about 10 o'clock if she'd like to go into the city with me. She has an early report time tomorrow. Her report time is like 5 a.m. or something like that tomorrow. So she may not, I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm just going to go to bed and try and get a good nap in. Our flight here was pretty easy. There were really no issues, no challenges. Most of our passengers were sleeping, so it was fairly easy. Working with a good, solid crew, no complaints. There's one person who's been on my line the whole month, and I really do enjoy working with her. It's definitely a good time. I'm flying lead up in front. She's flying in the back. Yeah, it was a nice flight here. No drama, no trauma. Nice and easy. I hope there's no fallout from the last video. I haven't posted it yet in my time, but by the time you see this video, you should have already seen it with my request about gift cards and things like that. So I hope there's not a lot of fallout. I hope I'm not going to offend anybody with that video, but too late. It's already out on the internet in your time. If I haven't posted it, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Wait for it. You'll see it. I think that's it. I need to go to bed. I'm tired, and I want to try and get enough sleep without sleeping until 1 o'clock, right? See you later. Good morning, guys. Just getting breakfast in Newark. The eggs, you can see why I'm not eating those. If you're a flight attendant, you know. The potatoes look amazing. The sausages look like something dredged up from the bottom of the ocean, don't they? God help me. I had some breakfast potatoes, and I had one of those little sausages, but oh my God, so repulsive. So I made two little mini waffles and some juice, and I'm gonna eat this and then head upstairs and take a little nappy poo. I will see you upstairs. Hey guys, how are ya? So, I left the hotel. I slept until like 11 o'clock. I woke up, went to sleep, Finally got up about 11 o'clock. I'm heading towards Penn Station. Do you remember these guys from last week? How cute are they? They've grown a ton in just a week. There's no way any of those could fit through a chain link fence like they did last week. All right, guys, so the weather is a little gloomy, but humid, and it's a little hot, honestly. I thought 70 degrees with a little humidity would be sort of, you know, cool enough still for a sweater, especially one with dinosaurs all over it. I know, I'm dressed like a giant toddler, but I thought the sweater was cute. Not my typical style, but I thought it was cute. So I just got tickets to go into Penn Station, New York. And then I looked up and I saw World Trade Center over there. That is the PATH train, I believe. And so next time I'm here, I'm going to try to, which I don't even know when that's going to be. I'm going to try and like build up an emotional reserve where I can go to the World Trade Center and not literally melt on the sidewalk just out of, you know, emotion. So yay, they made it very simple apparently to get on that path. All you have to do is swipe your debit card on the machine over there and you're in. There's no like buying separate tickets like you do on the transit. Yay. All right, so I am hoping to go into the Guggenheim, but it's about noon right now and they close at 5. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get there. The Guggenheim doesn't require a lot of time. It's not a huge museum, so We'll see if I can do that. If not, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if I can see. No, I was going to say you can see the city from here, but no, you can just see the dirt on the windows. The camera won't even focus through the dirt. Well, Penn Station certainly has changed a lot since I first started coming to New York. Oh, there's Rose Pizza, which seems to be my first stop whenever I come into Penn Station. Penn Station seems to have changed a lot over the years. I just ran across 2 United flight attendants that were trying to get to the airport. I don't know which airport, but I can't imagine being a reserve flight attendant in New York. I mean, especially those airlines that you have to serve like 3 different airports. Can't imagine. I can't imagine. Very lucky to live in base in Las Vegas. All right, so very, very nice pizza options here. I'm going classic pepperoni. Although I had this chicken and broccoli one last time. It was good. I might try that again. Okay, there is my lunch. Very much looking forward to that. It's very, very yummy. And apparently my name is Jessica today. Great music. Stepping out of Penn Station, the first thing you see, Empire State Building. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Busy, busy. And as usual, I find myself passing through Times Square every single time. Like it or not, here I am. But it's not that busy, not that crazy, so I should be able to move through fairly easily and quickly. I just stopped at that TKS booth, the tickets booth. And of all the times I've been in New York, and I've seen a couple of shows, I've never picked up tickets cheaply there before. They have tickets to see Death Becomes Her, the musical, this evening for $199. She's like, if you can come tomorrow, it'll be $109. I'm like, ugh. I'll be in Las Vegas tomorrow with my cats, which I'd much rather see than Death Becomes Her, the musical. The cats. I just passed by a young man who was furtively trying to sell some fake handbags out of a little sheet he had folded up, and people are just tearing through them trying to find them. There was a really cute green large Goyard tote bag. It looked really good, and the Goyard fakes, it's not hard to fake Goyard. There was a little teeny temptation. If I had cash in my pocket, maybe, but I would have felt weird every time I wore it. I don't know. I said no. I said no to the bag. And as often as I find myself in Times Square, I also find myself in Central Park. Could be worse. Beautiful day. I'm passing by the Met. The Guggenheim is, I think, right up there, maybe a few blocks further. There it is. There's the Guggenheim. Kind of wild. It has been, 15 years since I've walked in here. A ticket here. Looks like the tickets might be $30. And that is amazing. All right. I was admiring the building when I was buying a ticket, and I turned, recognizing that I was holding up the line, and I said, I'm so sorry, I was admiring the building. And the very nice, very fashionable people at the front desk there said, we were admiring your sweater. I was like, thanks, it's good. Well, whoever originally owned it's probably dead. But that was fun. A poem for deep thinkers. Okay, I'm gonna do a little reading, and we'll check it out. I know you wanted to see the toilet. I know you wanted to see it. But the lavatories are unisex. And yeah, that is where you have to sit. That's like a hand's breadth from the... This piece, I don't know, is that manumission papers in circles? No idea, but... been standing here for probably 5 minutes just staring at this one piece, trying to make sense the direction of this 1 foot is here, but all the other ones are the other foot or a foot going in a different direction. Same story here, and I wasn't sure if is this a commentary on relationships and that you're have this sort of forever circle going on, but you're always separate at the same time, or I don't know what to make of it. That's what comes to mind. And at the Guggenheim, I don't think they have any cheat sheets on the walls next to the pieces. So you're kind of on your own from what I understand. But let's look over here at this little gallery. This piece is Untitled Anxious Audience. Now, seen from a distance, it definitely feels one way. Working on it up close as the artist, I can only try to imagine how difficult it is to see the whole of the piece as you're working it when you can only look at this one spot. I can hardly imagine how it's possible to work on this piece with a true understanding of what the end result might be. And if this is an anxious audience, there's some people missing here. Interesting, it's black soap and wax on ceramic tile. And if I'm not too embarrassed, I would tell you a story about when I wore diapers back when I was a baby. And apparently I was being very artistic with well, if you have babies, maybe you know what I'm about to go into. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but you probably figured it out. That's what this looks like. It looks like baby poop on a wall, but it speaks a completely different language than baby poop. I don't know how to explain how I feel when I look at this. Interesting. Anxious audience. Makes me a little anxious. The artist is Rashid Johnson. This collection is called A Poem for Deep Thinkers. Now, this little blurb here on the artist says, let's see, I don't want to read everything here. He is influenced by radical artistic and political movements that helped shape the decades from the 60s through the 90s, periods of his parents' activism and his own education, when idealists actively challenged hierarchies and established new order. Though Johnson is acutely aware that these movements failed to create a just world, he looks both externally towards the past and internally towards his everyday experience and emotional life, creating powerful artworks that reflect the ways that a single life can both move with the times and carve out a singular path through history. Okay. Wow, that's fantastic. And that makes me kind of understand these pieces a little bit better. Next gallery here is a grouping called By Way Of. Let's see, this exhibition, sampling artworks from the early 60s onward, surveys some of the ways which contemporary artists not only moved away from the traditional markers of art practice, but also embodied novel ideas of what it means to be in the world. Okay. Wow, look at that. Look at that. All right, there's a lot. There's a lot to practice here. There's a lot to process here. I'm going to try and process that, but I have to get a look at this. Do you know the flower coxcomb? That's what this looks like it's made out of, but it looks like it's made out of cotton or wool, some sort of fiber. Wow. Now, I tried doing something like this when I was probably 18 or 19 years old. I tried to make, honestly, I didn't have this in mind, but I was trying to make a sculpture out of old Aquanet cans that I used a lot of in the 80s, and I collected them to do something with them, like an art piece. And this is actually what I kind of had in mind right here. It's kind of wild. There's a couple people for a sense of proportion here. Not only is that kind of striking, but what I adore, and I haven't read, I think I see a little blurb on the wall, but what I'm seeing over here is a little pile here, a little pile over there, a few pieces over there in the corner. It looks like it's kind of becoming an invasive piece of artwork that's taking over the room. How wild is that? Invasive art. I love it. What an idea. All right, I'm going to read this to myself. Oh, it's polyurethane foam, polyester fiber, and acrylic paint. Okay. The artwork takes its title and shape from Happy Days, a 1961 Samuel Beckett play. In the play, two miserable characters discuss their fleeting happiness while trapped in mounds of soil with only their heads poking out. By recreating Beckett's mounds using bedding material instead of soil and rock, the artist suggests a more romantic path through life. Now, did Beckett write Waiting for Godot? Am I wrong? I'm going to have to Google that because that would make sense. Kevin Beasley made this piece called Strange Fruit, which we saw when I came in. There's a pair of Air Jordans and all sorts of electronic equipment and things stuck in little bags of resin or epoxy. Interesting. But Kevin Beasley's installation is both a sculpture that visually recalls shoes tossed over tree branches or onto power lines, and a musical instrument that plays the ambient noise of the gallery and the voices of visitors. Beasley, a visual artist, sound artist, and musician, is interested in the legacies of music and the way in which it and soundscapes mirror history. Okay. Interesting, though. My understanding of shoes, sneakers in particular, thrown over power lines, from what I very vaguely remember of my days out there in the street, if you saw a particular type of shoe hanging off one of the power lines, I always thought that meant you could probably buy drugs in that area. Maybe that's an urban myth, but that's what I understood as a kid and practiced and usually found what I was looking for. I just happened to look up, and there's more of that. More of that invasive artwork. I love that idea, invasive artwork. All right, there's more to look at over there. I'll show you more of this in a moment, but let's read. This installation is a model of the artist's family home in Mexico City and comprised entirely of discarded objects he found on the Upper East Side sidewalks of Manhattan. The artist travels often for his projects and sources local materials almost exclusively rather than shipping completed artworks from his studio. In this semi-nomadic mode, the artist recreates the home as a memento, but recoups it in spirit by fully relying on found materials and serendipity. Wow, neato. So this is a model of his home in Mexico City, built of things that he found here on the Upper East Side. I can only imagine putting this together in this space where there's no visitors, just this empty room with the sound of your own movements and moving furniture around and just moving things just here and there. I think putting this together, this assemblage together, must have been quite the experience. Again, the combination of form, but also the sound of your movements and moving of the things. Wow. Well, I'm glad they had that little blurb. I thought they didn't have any of those here. And where are we? Oh, there's the store. Now, question. I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to have to answer my own question later on with the help of Google, which I cannot access right now. Did Frank Lloyd Wright design the Guggenheim? That's what this is feeling like. I've never even asked, but this is what it feels like. All right. Well, all right. Oh my God, this is very exciting. All right. Does anyone want to guess who the artist is here? Well, you're cheating. You saw the signature, didn't you? Picasso. It's Pablo Picasso. It's called Bird on a Tree. Yes, from 1928. It's crazy. Every museum I go to, I seem to find a piece of Picasso, and every single time it looks like somebody completely different painted that painting. So it's so wild. His style changed so completely, so many times. Is that Gauguin over there on the wall? I think it is. A lot of great pieces at the MFA in Boston. More Picasso. This is the 14th of July, Paris, 1901. Again, completely different. Completely. Wow. Is a little taste of Vincent van Gogh, which I think I'm pronouncing incorrectly. Someone said it's more Vincent van Gogh, but if you know, let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is by an artist that I'm really more familiar with because of posters, but this is Toulouse-Lautrec. Interesting point of view, right? So there's this lady in a chair facing something that could maybe be a fireplace or something, I don't know. There looks like someone who looks like Aunt Bee from the Andy Griffith show, if you know what I'm talking about. And this little character, like on a settee or one of those little round hotel chairs, which makes me wonder, is this a hotel lobby? Because that type of chair was frequently found in like Art Deco lobbies of hotels and public spaces. I wonder if this was a lobby of a hotel or something. Well, it's called In the Salon by Toulouse-Lautrec, 1893. Pastel and oil with graphite on paperboard. Interesting. And to continue with the greatest hits, here's a little Renoir for you. Got a little parakeet in her hand. Lovely, lovely. Her brows are completely on point. I love these colors. Those are amazing. Alright, you know how I hate filming in portrait mode. I hate it, especially for YouTube content, but there's no other way to film this and capture the whole thing in here. Does anyone recognize this artist? The big hint here are ballerinas. Anyone know who this is? You're right, Degas. Little Degas here. And who do we have over here? We have a little Manet. She's got a little corset going on. She's dressing. I just think these colors almost look like they're from heaven or something. I don't think they need you to wear corsets in heaven, though. I'm going to assume because of the composition and the form of the figures, I'm going to expect those are by Degas. And they are, of course. Of course they are. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Can we guess who this artist is? Can you guess? Don't cheat. Don't look at the signature. Yep, Pablo Picasso. I know. Everything he did, everything looked like he used somebody else's eyes and somebody else's hands. Don't you think? So this gallery that I've been showing you, all these amazing pieces here, like the greatest hits of the art world, right? That's all right off of the spiraling part. That is the main part of the Guggenheim. But there's still a little section over here I want to check out. I still think this is an absolute riot. I still have to Google when I can if that gentleman wrote Waiting for Godot, one of my absolute all-time favorite plays. This is, does anyone want to guess who this is? Cezanne. You're right, Cezanne. I'm totally digging that sky. It makes me think a lot of the sunsets I've been showing you in Las Vegas, where the skies are sort of like a pale turquoise with this lavender pink kind of swirl through it. What blows my mind here, though, is if you look at that sky, it's so beautiful, but it's really just made up of a whole bunch of just brushstroke. It's not even a brushstroke. He literally hit the canvas with a brush, bump, 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 and even left some of the sky blank canvas. I wonder if that's to be a cloud or something. I don't know, but that's Little Cezanne. And what's this over there? Over here, who's this? That's beautiful. Wouldn't you love to go there? Why am I thinking, who is that? Hold on, let me think. And this is probably very important. This is probably a very important piece of work. And I'm like, it's okay. It's a still life. Who is that? Of course it's Cezanne. And here I'm like, yeah, it's all right, whatever. Oh, and this is Pizarro, Camille Pizarro. How funny that painted this little cottage scene. Huh. And more Cezanne, and I'm enjoying this. It's a still life with some fruits on a plate. You know, it's definitely an interesting composition. I love how he's created this sort of peaks and valleys and crumpled bits of the tablecloth here with just some real harsh swipes of paint. But you know what really interests me, what really catches my eye are these little figures, these little swirls and shapes in the background here. Now, like, is that indicative of something solid, or like a figure or something that's behind this table? Or is that something out of focus? You know, if you're looking over here at something in the real world, if you're looking at over here, and you can't turn your eyes to look over here, but you have to try and look at it anywhere without turning your eyes, is that sort of the focus that you're getting? Does that make any sense? Like, when you're looking at your best friend, go look at your best friend's face. I mean, not right now, but look at your best friend's face. Look at your best friend's eye, right here. And don't take your eyes off your friend's eye, but also simultaneously try to look at their lips without turning your eyes. And that's what I'm kind of feeling there. Does it make any sense? I think that is part of what I think some of the Cubist paintings like Pablo Picasso were trying to capture. You know, you'd see a figure of a woman, but it's really just this whole jumble of blocks and lines and all sorts of weird shapes. But what I honestly think is that in some instances, an artist might be trying to capture a whole face and have you be able to look at every part of their face all at one time while focusing on one spot, but also seeing all the rest of the face at the same time, at the same focus. Am I making any sense at all? That's why it looks so jumbled, because, you know, you're trying to look here and here at the same time, but you can't. You can't focus on both places. But if he's trying to paint in a way that allows you to focus on all of it at one time. I'm cuckoo. I know, I'm crazy. Oh. Death. Okay. All right. I feel like filming this and not saying anything really about it. Because I think we should all have our own interpretation of it. It is an axe painted black and embedded in the wall here. That line here is, these lines here are shadows of the axe handle. I'm going to leave that for your interpretation. Shall we continue? Here's that piece we saw earlier. This is the artist of the pieces we just looked at with the brown wax on the white tiles downstairs. This is a video of him in his bathroom applying coconut oil to his skin, and he's listening to the Tavis Smiley Show, the first NPR program hosted by a black person. For Johnson, listening to Smiley's show was a daily ritual of self-care. And in this video, shea butter, that's what he was spreading on himself, is one of Johnson's signature materials. It plays a central role. The artist's use of shea butter also critiques the commodification of a substance deeply embedded in African cultural traditions, especially within the black diaspora, for whom it is a symbol of the homeland. You know, thank goodness for pieces like this. I'm so grateful that someone took the time to really write this, because to sit here and think, well, here's a man putting shea butter on himself, ... right? So I'm so grateful for things like this. Let's continue on. There's another restroom. Another restroom. So, years and years and years ago, 1,000 years ago, back in 2000, probably 2006 or 2007, I just love this building. Oh my gosh. I'm sure I've told you something of this story before, but years and years and years ago, when I was working at Neiman Marcus, I had a client, the Sonnabends. Is it Roger Sonnabend? And I forget his wife's name. Lovely people, incredibly wealthy people. They owned the Sonesta hotel chain, the Royal Sonesta hotel chain. It's kind of gone downhill, but I think when he was alive, it was a fantastic place. But he and his wife owned a 3-story brownstone, maybe, in Lewisburg Square in Boston, like the address, and they had all the floors reinforced to be able to hold tons and tons and tons of weight. They would bring in artists. There was one gentleman, as I'm remembering, the last installation in their house that I remember seeing was a North Korean artist who literally, he wasn't here. He didn't actually install it in their house because he was in exile, hiding. But his piece was made of giant boulders, literally big boulders like granite, basalt, that kind of thing. Huge boulders placed around in a certain pattern on the floor of their 3-story brownstone in Boston. And it was in their living room. And then it was in the Guggenheim. It left their place and their off-Broadway show, and then came here to the Guggenheim shortly after, and I came here to see it at the Guggenheim back then, and it was surreal. But that's the kind of people I used to have as clients a very long time ago in a different life. Here we are, Guggenheim. This piece, a Persian rug, and that's Johnson, the artist that is being exhibited in the section we're exploring now. He is sort of trying to practice yoga in a way, and you can see he's on this Persian rug in the video. Right over here, while in Germany, and more reading, I'm so sorry, it probably bored you to tears. While in Germany in his late 20s, Johnson attempted to learn yoga, but because yoga instruction relies heavily on verbal cues, the language barrier prevented him from fully participating. The frustrating but thought-provoking experience ultimately inspired this piece. Let's see. Displayed on a monitor atop a Persian rug, the work evokes spaces of contemplation and study, recalling the intellectual environments of W.E.B. Du Bois and Sigmund Freud. In the silent film, a black man performs improvised movements, a blend of yoga, sharp voguing, and precise martial arts. Outdoors in a grassy expanse. Filmed from a distance, he is presented more as an abstract figure than a person. Just as Johnson was unable to fully access yoga in Germany, the presentation of the film creates a similar sense of remove and detachment with no personal context beyond his movements. The viewer is left to interpret the man based on their own assumptions. I love art. My brain is sizzling right now. So exciting. This is almost impossible for you to read on camera, and I'm not going to read the entire thing to you, but something I want to look at more is this is more about Johnson and the work we've been looking at lately. By 2008, the artist focus is not so much working through specific art forms, but rather exploring the possibilities of materials that hold cultural and emotional meaning. Black soap and shea butter, common grooming products in the African diasporic community that signal self-care for the body, become the basis for the black monochrome, cosmic slot paintings, and a sculptural material blah, 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 juxtaposing, blah, 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 blah. And so where he's going on, oh, wait, this Frank Lloyd Wright building, I was right, was originally designed to house plants year-round, maybe explaining why there are plants hanging from the ceiling. But so here, where some of this is talking, I think, about how the artist is using materials that most people would not think of in terms of art materials, black soap and shea butter, and using them and transforming them into a material to express really incredibly complex ideas. In my mind, it's the same thing as the first person to crush lapis lazuli, lapis, that blue, semi-precious gemstone that it's like from Afghanistan or something, right? And some Italian figured to, learn from somebody else that if you grind it up and you put it into a composite of like egg yolk and stuff like that, you can create blue paint, which you can then turn into a sky or the color of someone's eye, iris, that you can turn a rock into a sky. Or the color of someone's eye is, to me, kind of akin to what this artist has done with shea butter in creating these pieces of artwork around me. I haven't shown you every single piece, but shea butter and black soap has really been integral to the body of each piece. So it's interesting how this artist has, in my eyes, turned an object like shea butter. Have you ever used shea butter? It's amazing. Into a precious object, and it's so closely tied to the black experience in this country and the world. But it's just, my brain is like throbbing right now. This is crazy. These are the feelings I used to seek with alcohol and drugs. Honestly, to be transported, to be taken out of my head and cast out into space. That's kind of what I was hoping to feel one day with drugs and alcohol, and that I can get that with art. Pretty cool, right? Or maybe I'm crazy. Now I'm in a very different gallery. Really cool. But there's this piece here. I'm going to ask you, can you guess the artist? Something about the form here of the composition makes me think of Gauguin and like Tahiti. But yeah, Picasso. It's all Picasso. Who knew? This is Picasso. Crazy. All right. Can you guess the artist? This is easier. Can you guess the artist? Pablo Picasso. It's more Picasso. And again, it's completely different. I think it's just wild. Honestly, it's hard to even capture this inside my head. I'm just totally digging the little tiny little face and the belly button. Is that an innie or an outie? I can't quite tell. I just think that's fantastic. I just think that's amazing. I'm sorry, getting out of people's way. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, Picasso. This gallery, I think, is dedicated to artwork created by children. Look how this kid made a whale out of a bottle. How neat is that? I love that. A manta ray out of a bottle. That is so neat. These are all artworks done by children. And it looks like it's about to rain outside. That's Central Park across the way there. It looks like it's about to rain. And here's a good view of the outside of the building from the inside. And in the distance, you'll see one of those really crazy, like spaghetti skyscrapers. Look how skinny the building is. What happens when you have to tear that down? Crazy. All right, let's continue on. You know what made me think that Frank Lloyd Wright designed this building is that This entire building is about compression of space, forcing you into small areas, and then they open up into these big, expansive areas, and then you're contracted again. And if you've ever visited any of his homes that he's designed or built, the bathrooms are always like this big. They're made for people who are much smaller than me. Let's continue. This is more of Johnson's work. And I am getting a little fatigued, mostly because my brain has been sizzling. Oh, look at this. It's like a daybed made out of zebra, or zebra for those of you who are more continental. I'm getting a little museum fatigue, and I'm almost not even halfway done. Help. Was I telling you earlier that this is a small museum? I lied. Collection and focus. Beatrice Milhazes. Rigor and Beauty. Okay. Do you like this? What do you think? Makes me think of parasols, Asian parasol umbrellas, just a scene from above. Okay. Maybe I'm just in the mood. The mood has been set for me by the pieces out in the hall that are much more sort of gut punches instead of these sort of mandala things. I'm not really sure if I'm feeling this at the moment. Maybe in the future it'll change, but I think I'm going to move on. Even the water fountain's kind of cool. Yummy. Now this piece is really engaging. It's also enormous. We've got that figure I've come to discover as being called the Anxious Man over there. But out of this entire thing, we've got James Baldwin, the same book here called The Fire Next Time. But what's really catching my attention is something, and I'm sure this is like a Rorschach test, like what do you see in this blob of black wax? Right down here, to me, do you see a figure standing in profile, standing in prayer with their head bowed forward a little bit and their hands, let's see if I can get my hands clasped at their chest? That's the bum right there. I see a figure sort of standing there, head bowed in prayer, but you'll also notice he's kind of squiggled, that he's made some sort of stroke through the wax as it cooled. And it's created this little bit of chaos right on top of this figure's head. Of course, I'm reading into this completely. But to me, that one little figure inside there makes me think of those times I'm standing in a meeting. We sometimes say, let's take a moment of silence for those sick and suffering in and out of the rooms. You bow your head kind of a moment and try to think about, a prayer for the person who is sick and suffering. Sometimes that person's standing right next to you. Sometimes it's you. But that little bit of chaos inside that head there that's what's making me, that's what I'm focusing on right there. I'm sure every time you look at this piece, you'd see something different. But that's just what caught my attention right there. And I think I'm proving to myself I really, truly am crazy. And why are you guys still watching me? All right, let's continue on. I don't think I can capture this entire piece in one frame. It is a gigantic table. It is enormous with these sort of circular forms, these gears and different gashes and diamond figures in there burnt into the wood. And these piles and these sort of, they almost look like they're carved chess pieces, or they're going to be busts, like sculptures of people's heads and shoulders. I can't quite tell maybe what they were going to be, but you can see that the parts that have been cut off and cast aside are just kind of strewn around the forms. And this is all shea butter. This is all, I think it's honestly shea butter on top of a form like styrofoam or something, because that would be a lot of shea butter. But we've already been listening to me talk about shea butter and how it's connected to a black person's experience culturally, and just really, I wish there were a little blurb next to it, because I would love to see what someone else thinks about this, but I can't stop looking at it. Wow. This is more of the artist doing, dance instead of yoga. Okay. My brain is very tired right now. Huh. There's got to be some commentary on the U.S. here with this red, white, and blue. I don't know what it is. I like it, but let's continue. Oh, there's a big bunch of people either in line, or I don't know what's going on up there. It sounds like someone's playing the piano. It doesn't sound like a recording. I don't see where they're playing it from. Is someone playing it? Oh, yes. Right inside. Inside there. Is that the artist? That would be wild. With these pieces of pottery. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Ooh, I'm so sorry. Just call me Grace. I just about walked into somebody while I was trying to look around. Just call me Grace. Welcome to the Guggenheim. This is like my favorite thing in the entire museum. These pottery pieces are amazing. Look at that one. Oh my God, I love that. I wish I could do something. I wish I could be so free as to make these gestures, and I tend to be so tight-fisted when I do things like this. Amazing. I have finally come to the tippy top of the Guggenheim. My feet hurt, I'm hungry, and I'm exhausted. My brain hurts, but it's been a very nice visit. The young lady who's playing piano back there, she is surprisingly young. She looks like she's 22 years old. And it's extraordinary, extraordinary. What an experience. This has been so worth it. And I'll tell you, a good indicator of how amazing this place is and how much people love this space. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They close in an hour, but people are still coming in, and there are people everywhere. It's streaming with people. Where some museums, the last hour, it's practically abandoned. Let's go into the gift shop. This is one of 2, I think, gift shops. I want that mobile. Can you see that mobile with the red and the blue and the yellow and the black? I love that. It's probably like $300. I just had 2 more compliments on my sweater. I love that guy right there. He is upset. I had 2 more compliments on my sweater from ladies inside the gift shop. Do you remember how I was talking about Frank Lloyd Wright and his ideas of compression and then expansion? This is a great example of, like, it's a support column, obviously, but that he creates these spaces where you're forced to kind of go into these narrowed areas, and you come out into these almost wide boulevards, and then you're compressed again as you move through this spiral. It really is incredibly dynamic. Not just because it spirals, but it also spirals and contracts. And you know, I'm gonna sound incredibly stupid right now. One of my favorite words. Do you have a favorite word? What's your favorite word? In the English language or other languages, what's your favorite word? Mine is peristalsis. What is peristalsis? Peristalsis is the movement of food, because I love food, from the mouth through the whole digestive system and out the other end. Peristalsis, it's you don't have to think about it, your body just does it, but it's all the muscles that contract and expand, giving the food room to be digested, moved around, and then contract it again to extract all the moisture and nutrition and blah, blah, blah. So peristalsis, that's actually what this makes me think of, is like you enter one end of this system and you come out the other end completely changed and nourished. Aren't I crazy? I am absolutely crazy. To compare my movement through this museum to the movement of food through my digestive system. Creepy, weird, crazy. And here you are watching. Who's crazy? I wonder if people have ever been hurt or if they've fallen. I'm just like this sort of wall on my side is just below the crotch of my pants. So if I were to just tilt over a little bit this far, if I had, a little glass of wine or something, that would not be a good trip. A very bad trip. All right, I am almost done. I've gone all the way up there through all the galleries, and I'm back down to the bottom. I wonder if that's a performing space. This would be a great space for either music or even the spoken word. This would be a great place for that. I really so pleased I came. I'm sorry to leave, because it's been such an exciting visit, but I'm also really tired. My brain hurts. It has been thoroughly exercised, and my brain is sore. My feet are fine, but my brain hurts. I'm going to check out, I think they have another gift shop downstairs, and then I'm going to head out of here, get something cold to drink somewhere. Look at all these mobiles. I have one mobile in the house that's of cats, of course. I love these mobiles. There's that one again. I like that one too.
It's just like from the packaging.
It's a good gift shop. Look at this. It's a chess set with the Empire State Building as the queen and the Freedom Tower as being the king. How wonderful. I wonder if the Flatiron Building are those the bishops? How neat. And the Guggenheim, look at that right there. What an amazing chess set. It's $155. I do not need a chess set. No one would play with me. My cats can't play chess. But I love that. I love that. Guggenheim scarf, I love that too. Alright, I'm heading back towards Penn Station. I just looked up, I'm at 86th Street. Yes, I did walk all the way here. I walked all the way to the Guggenheim from Penn Station, which is 34th Street. So I walked like, what is that? 50 blocks. I just walked 50 blocks to walk to the Guggenheim, and now I'm like, kind of shambling back. I might grab a taxi. I might, but I need the steps. So I'll keep on keeping on. The day has got a little gloomy. It's been kind of misting a little bit. It's not quite raining, but It feels like it's going to any moment. If I lived in New York City, I think I would have a boyfriend. I mean, I've already had 15 relationships just walking down the street. They didn't know it, but it was true love. And I'm at Rockefeller Center. This is Atlas from 1937, I believe. Very cool. And there is the Empire State Building once again. No matter where you are in New York, there it is. All right. Penn Station's down that way. I'm on 34th Street. My feet are killing me. Oh, so much better. Oh my gosh. So I had a piece of pizza earlier this afternoon, right down the way. It was actually at Rose Pizza. And on the way back to the train, I just realized how hungry I am. I have no food in the hotel. And the only option really close by to my hotel room I really don't like. So I stopped at Shake Shack at the Penn Station, and man, it was a really great experience. The food's always good. It was the same price as it was back home. And it was super, super fast, very courteous. They walked the food over to me. It was very nice. Very nice experience, and I am nice and full, very happy. This should hold me over until breakfast tomorrow morning if I decide to wake up for that. But now I have to head back to the train. I don't want to get up because my feet are killing me. But right now, so far, I've got, how many steps does that say? 25,000, something like that. I got my steps in today. Once again, just like last week, it seems I have perfect timing on getting a train back to my hotel. Let's get a good seat. Perfect timing. Otherwise, I would have had to wait for a while. Oh, good. Let's get a view. This looks good. Oh, these seats look very vintage. Hey guys, how are you? I can't see that. How many steps does that say right here? 20, almost 29,000 steps. Is that right? I can't quite see that with my glasses off. Hey guys, how are you? Yeah, I have been walking. I got my steps in today. It is, what time did I say? 8:20 p.m. So yeah, I've been out all day long. It's been great. I had a wonderful walk around New York again. I won't be back here for a little while, so I'm really glad I got the chance to sort of see really the city all over again. I explored all sorts of places this past month. And today the Guggenheim was mind-blowing, unbelievable. And I have to look into how often the sort of offerings change, because that whole museum today seemed to be much about this one singular artist for the most part in the major parts of the galleries. I bought some cherries and have been enjoying these immensely from Sprouts. I've been snacking on those for the past couple of days. But yeah, that's my day. That's my day. I'm gonna settle down and play some video games and then try to get a very good night's sleep. Breakfast in the morning, and then our shuttle is at 12:35. And then we've got that very long day that I've had a number of times this month. We're flying to Vegas. We've got a few hours to sit in Vegas, and then we do a Burbank turn afterwards. So it's a very long day, but it's been good so far. No real problems, so I shouldn't expect anything. So I will not see you until tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining me today. It really has been a lot of fun. Going over what I've said to you guys today, I've made no sense at all, and I sound like a crazy person. But here you are watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a good night. Bye. Bye, bed. Oh, man, I destroyed you last night. Holy gosh. All right, bags are packed. All the cords and stuff are taken from the wall. I'm ready to go. It's 12:05. I've got about 20 minutes before our shuttle. I'm going to try and grab a coffee at Dunkin's across the street. I'm in uniform, so I can't say hi to you in person, but good afternoon. I will see you probably next in Las Vegas. All right, guys, I'm back in Las Vegas. 4 hours and 40 minutes. No problems, no issues, no concerns. Really easy flight. But we have another hour and a half to sit here before we fly off to Burbank. I got a little snack for my sit. It's a jalapeno cheese bagel with some plain cream cheese. Very excited about this. With my discount, it was $6.50. Airport prices. Hey guys, how are you? Good evening and welcome back to Las Vegas. Welcome back to my car, Shimi. I am just driving home after another long, grueling day, 12-hour duty day once again. But this is the last of the trips. This is the last of this exact duplicate trip. I've had it 4 times this month. So there were no surprises today with this very, very long day. But it was lovely. It was as nice as it could be for such a long day. No problems, no challenges, no issues, no delays. Super simple. First leg of the day, 4 hours and 40 minutes. We had a 3-hour sit, and then we had a turn. The turn was sparsely populated. There weren't a ton of people on either leg, so it made it very, very simple. But yeah, no challenges, no problems, no complaints. Great crew, great flight crews. Ta-da! Super easy. But I am glad that it's the last time I'll be doing this exact trip for a little bit. I have tomorrow off, and then the next morning I've got to fly off to LaGuardia. The first leg of that day, I think my report time is 10-something a.m. It's a deadhead from Las Vegas to Detroit, and then we work the Detroit leg from there to LaGuardia. I've got 31 hours there. I don't know if it's as easy to get into the city from LaGuardia as it is from our Newark hotel, but if it is, I would like to think about going to either MoMA or potentially, if I can psychologically prepare myself enough for it, to go to the 9/11 Memorial. But I think the 9/11 Memorial, you have to really buy tickets in advance, I believe. I don't know for sure. I'll look into it. Yeah, so that's the day after tomorrow. But for now, that's it. I want to thank you for joining me on this trip today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves at the Guggenheim. It is one of my absolute favorite museums, and I kind of forget about it. I forget about it in favor of something more traditional, like the Met or even MoMA. I keep forgetting how intensive the Guggenheim can be, because they really focus on one artist in the main galleries, which is that spiral ramp that you go up, where there's other galleries that are budding off of that spiral that focus on lots and lots of art, as you saw, right? So if you have a chance, really go to the Guggenheim. It is mind-blowing. It's just so intense. Yeah, there we go. That is my trip. I will see you in the next one, which again doesn't start till the day after tomorrow. So I will see you soon. Yeah, there we go. Fly safe. Bye.